these three movements to me are more important than any sort of state I'm at. Non-duality, no self, blah 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 blah, enlightenment, awakening. That's not relevant. Love to tell a little bit about this crazy process, this awakening process. And to me, it's very much about the recognition of life, right? What is life actually? Who you actually are, right? And how that manifests in every moment, in every way. And that's different in every moment. That's also the cool part. So what we call awakening usually is a recognition of, oh, I thought I was this small piece of life, this case, that was separate from everything. But actually, it's sort of I'm life living this case experience. And that could be a sort of non-verbal recognition, or it could be a verbal recognition. You could see that in all sorts of ways. You could see a sense of safety. You can see a sense of relaxation. You can see a sense of, oh, I'm bigger than I thought. And usually it's not, to me, about certain states, right? There are lots of different states which we can label, but it's not about the states. It's, to me, about three key recognitions. And one of those recognitions, I think the first one is a sort of understanding. Which is why people, when they have the sort of first awakening, they go read all these books. They go and watch thousands of YouTube videos, like probably we all did, or at least the people that I recognize here. We all did that, and that makes a lot of sense, right? Is to first get some sort of understanding. Okay, what is this, and what is life, and what's this deeper thing I've seen somehow or experienced? And then at some point, there comes a point when you actually feel that there's a sort of end of knowledge. It's like more understanding can be cool, but it actually is not really helping me further along in this journey. There's a sort of limit to what understanding does, because we've realized we are this life. And there's something in the way, probably, and what we see that's often in the way is our suffering, is where we still feel small in us, while we're actually this huge thing. Is somehow in some aspects of our life, we still feel small. And you could say that's our suffering. We start to orient towards that. Everybody usually runs away from their suffering, right? They avoid their suffering. But then comes this moment where we understand, okay, somehow we need to orient ourselves towards suffering, because it wants to be seen. It wants to be dissolved fully. And then you see that understanding is actually cool, but this process further is about, okay, orienting towards my suffering. And where am I still suffering? Because it's coming up either way, right? That's also, for a lot of people, is the suffering is just knocking at their door. When they have some sort of clarity of that they are alive, suffering is just coming towards them as well. It wants to be seen, it wants to be met. It's like your inner child that wants a hug. And then at some point, the suffering gets, let's say, bigger than the small self. It's not really about, you could say, it's more suffering than is actually about this life, right? You don't have to say it's about previous lives or something like that, but it's just bigger. right? And that amount of suffering, that's not something the small self can dissolve. So at some point, this third movement, so you have understanding, you have orienting towards your suffering, but this third movement is surrender. It's like, it's too big for me to deal with. How do I know what's a good choice, right, in this life? I have thousands of options. I could be anywhere in the world right now. How do I know what's right or something like that? You can't know what's right. It's about, in my opinion, going towards surrendering and floating on whatever life has, wants to express itself as you. It wants to express itself in this beautiful way that's very unique, right? It's so beautiful and so unique that you can't compare it to anybody else's journey, actually. And the only way for you to go forward is actually for the small self to surrender to the big self or whatever is seen. And that is why I call the channel From Doing to Being. Is, for me, this third movement is alignment, or alignment with flow, or whatever wants to arise in every moment. That's where true freedom also lies. But then understanding or orienting to your suffering is still relevant. It never stops, in a way. It's still beautiful. You can still have mental insights or think, oh, maybe it's like this, maybe it's like that. And if you don't hold on to that, that's actually really cool. And similar to suffering can still arise, and when it wants to be seen, it wants to be seen, and you can be there for it. But then you don't have to do it when you surrender or move from doing to being. Then you don't have to do it from a place where you feel responsible, or it's heavy, or I need to do it. No, I can just surrender and let life unfold as it wants to unfold. So these three movements to me are more important than any sort of state I'm at. Non-duality, no self, blah 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 blah, enlightenment, awakening. That's not relevant. What's relevant to me is whether you're actually honest to what life wants to bring to you in this moment. And that may not be comfortable, right? It's probably not comfortable because it's new. And our small self wants predictability, right? It wants to say, oh, my life is like this, it should be like that. And that predictability, if we hold on to it, that creates our suffering. Because life is not predictable, it's just moving, right? Every moment is different.